Chosen one, anchor your spirit to what I am about to reveal right now. That urge you feel to scroll past this message is not a simple accident. You must resist that sudden urge with everything you have. The enemy has been working overtime against you for one specific reason. He knows exactly what shifts in your reality the moment you hear these words. You absolutely did not find this message randomly, and the Holy Spirit brought you to this exact place because heaven has a specific plan for your life. This is a divine appointment, scheduled long before the foundations of the earth. I know exactly what the last few weeks have felt like for you. You have been walking through your own life, feeling like a complete stranger, and the atmosphere inside your home feels incredibly heavy and dense. And every single night you wake up at 3 in the morning with a strange weight on your chest. You cannot explain this intense pressure to anyone around you because they would never understand it. And when you walk into a room, the normal conversations suddenly stop. The people around you look at you differently now. They are watching you very closely from a distance. Some of them are studying you like you are a strange and unpredictable project. You can feel their judgmental eyes on you every single time you speak. They see something shifting inside of you, and it makes them deeply uncomfortable. You actually thought you were losing your mind for a while. You thought you were doing something wrong because everyone you trusted started pulling away. But you are not doing anything wrong at all. You are doing everything exactly right. They witnessed a human turn into a living God. And you are the very first God who survived something exactly like that. You survived the exact trauma that should have completely broken your spirit. They watched you go through the roaring fire, and they waited for you to finally burn, fully expecting you to come out totally destroyed and defeated. They fully expected you to finally give up and become just like them. But instead you emerged with a spiritual frequency they cannot even comprehend. Now they do not know what to do with you. They are terrified because they cannot manipulate or control you anymore. You used to always seek their validation and approval just to feel safe. You used to bend your own personal boundaries just to keep the peace in the room. But something fundamental inside of you has permanently snapped and broken free, allowing you to see straight through their hidden intentions now. Your intuition is picking up dangerous things before they even happen in physical reality. This sudden clarity is not some random coincidence. It is the absolute beginning of your divine activation. Your intense isolation is not evidence of your spiritual disqualification. It is absolute evidence of your divine selection and preparation. The crowd was not removed to punish you or make you suffer, but rather so heaven could finally speak to you without any earthly interference. You have felt this intense loneliness, and you sadly called it a heavy curse. You called it a painful burden that you could not carry anymore. But this isolation is simply the necessary cocoon of your transformation. You have not been aging or failing in any way. You have actually been molting and shedding your old skin. You carry a spiritual radar that most ordinary people will never understand. The deep sensitivity they told you to hide is actually a dangerous weapon. The depth that made you feel like you were simply too much is your greatest gift. It gives your spoken words the immense weight to shift atmospheres entirely. But some quiet part of you has been deeply afraid of your own power. You have been dimming your brilliant light just to keep ordinary people comfortable. You make yourself incredibly small just so they can feel big. You absorb their heavy energy and you carry it as if it belongs to you. You are always the one everyone comes to with their broken problems. You give so much of yourself and you receive so very little in return. The exhaustion you feel in your bones is not just physical tiredness, because it is the heavy weight of carrying an assignment you have not fully accepted yet. You watch other people succeed with absolutely no effort. Meanwhile, you struggle just to maintain your daily peace. Right now you are standing firmly between two different identities. The old one is dissolving and the new one is being birthed. This painful cycle of hiding your true nature has to stop right now. In the next few minutes I am going to reveal exactly why they are terrified of your presence. I will expose the one silent lie that keeps you trapped in this specific cycle of doubt. And at the very end of this message, I will give you the exact declaration that seals everything heaven just spoke about your future. You must not leave before the final verdict arrives. Your future self is waiting eagerly on the other side of these exact words. You need to stay with me until the very end. But before we go any further into your spiritual assignment, I need to hold something in front of you. Something that was discovered not inside a church, but inside a clinical research laboratory. It won the highest scientific recognition available in the entire modern world. Most chosen ones have never been told about this specific discovery because it completely explains something I know you have felt deep inside for years. It explains the massive gap between your true potential and your daily reality. I will show you exactly what was found by those dedicated researchers, but I cannot reveal the full answer to you just yet. First, I really need you to fully understand what was taken from you without your consent. So hold this important question in your mind as we continue today. What if the painful gap you feel is not a character flaw at all? What if this invisible blockage actually has a specific scientific name? When you closely examine your current life, you think everything is completely falling apart. You feel a deep physical ache in your tired bones every single day. You honestly believe that you are failing at this spiritual journey right now. But let me completely reframe your entire reality before you give up entirely. You are absolutely not dying in the dark like they want you to believe. You are simply molting into a much higher version of your true self. An eagle must shed its old feathers to grow stronger ones for higher altitudes. The process is incredibly painful and leaves them feeling totally exposed to dangerous predators. And while they sit in the dark waiting for their new feathers to grow, they must endure the terrible cold alone. This is exactly what is happening to your tired spirit right now. You are shedding every single agreement you ever made with human smallness. You are permanently breaking the heavy chains of seeking earthly validation from ordinary people. The people around you do not understand this sacred process at all. They look at your quiet isolation and they immediately call it a severe depression. They see you pulling away, and they confidently label you as deeply broken. But they are completely blind to the spiritual reality operating behind the physical scenes. Your sudden isolation is absolutely not a harsh punishment from an angry heaven. It is a necessary spiritual consecration for your glorious next chapter. God had to clear the room so he could finally speak to you clearly. The universe had to remove the noise so you could hear your own heartbeat. You are stepping into a profound level of mastery that terrifies the ordinary human mind. But because this massive transition requires an unbelievable amount of your internal cellular energy, you feel completely drained. This is exactly why you feel so incredibly exhausted and heavy lately. Your spiritual exhaustion is very real, but it is not just a spiritual attack. There is a physical reason why holding your frequency feels so incredibly heavy lately. The massive gap between your true potential and your daily reality is not a character flaw. It is a biological suppression that happened to your brain without your conscious permission. Here is the hidden truth that they never wanted you to discover today. The reason the universe responds effortlessly to certain people is not just blind faith. It is not about having perfect discipline or having completely pure spiritual karma. It is actually a very specific brainwave operating quietly below the surface level. Scientists have a specific name for this powerful frequency, and they call it the gamma wave. And it is the exact frequency your brain ran beautifully when you were a young child. Think back to when you were very young, and brilliant ideas came to you easily. Learning new and complex things felt entirely effortless and completely joyful to your spirit. You somehow knew things before they even happened. In the dense physical world, the whole world felt like it was completely on your side, every single day. That was your gamma wave operating at its absolute peak natural capacity. You were a natural genius, living in a constant and beautiful flow state. Then you grew up, and the heavy burden of adulthood violently arrived. The modern world immediately went to work on your brilliant and sensitive mind. The chronic stress of survival routines completely overwhelmed your natural biological system over time. The rigid school system aggressively trained you to conform instead of creating your own reality. And while you were busy trying to survive the endless demands of normal society, the glowing screens hijacked your attention and drained your vibrant energy. Every single year, this sacred frequency was suppressed a little bit further down. It was pushed deeper and deeper below the conscious surface of your tired mind, until the incredible version of you went completely silent inside your own physical body. The version of you, with lightning, intuition, and perfect clarity, was locked away securely. The natural and beautiful luck that made other people whisper simply vanished into thin air. When your gamma frequency fades away, your natural genius fades away right along with it. Your sharp and reliable intuition dulls into a vague and confusing daily anxiety. The beautiful synchronicities stop happening in your daily life without any clear warning. The comforting sense that the universe is working with you goes totally and completely silent. You are left trying to force things to happen through sheer human willpower alone. But you can never manifest your dream reality through exhausted and depleted human willpower. You cannot force a blocked spiritual channel to flow just by working harder than everyone else. And because you have been trying to do the heavy lifting of heaven using a suppressed human frequency, you feel entirely stuck right now. It is completely unsustainable for your beautiful soul to carry this massive burden anymore. Most ordinary people will live their entire lives without knowing this suppression ever happened to them. They will quietly accept their limited reality and die with their beautiful music still trapped inside them. But you are absolutely not like most people walking around on this earth today. You are a chosen one who deeply feels the painful absence of this specific frequency. You remember exactly how powerful and limitless you used to be in the past. Remember the vital question I asked you to hold at the very beginning of this message. I asked you, what if this frustrating gap actually has a real scientific name? Now you finally know the true name of what was taken from you so long ago. It is your suppressed gamma frequency waiting patiently to be revived. But simply knowing the name of the lock does not magically open the heavy iron door. You desperately need to know exactly how to reactivate it today. The dark forces that profit from your exhaustion want this frequency to remain dormant forever. They want you to stay small and tired, so you never claim your true spiritual inheritance. But the incredible answer you are desperately looking for is much closer than you might think. There is a proven way to turn the powerful signal back on without years of meditation. But first, you must deeply understand the true nature of the spiritual war surrounding you. But here is where the narrative of your journey delves far deeper than most people are willing to perceive. Let us talk about the people who witnessed your massive struggle. They watched you walk straight into the burning fire. They saw the flames rising high all around your exhausted spirit, and they honestly believed that you would finally burn to absolute ashes. They were waiting for your ultimate defeat. They wanted you to fail so they could feel better about their own comfortable mediocrity. But you absolutely did not burn into ashes like they expected you to. You stepped out of the blazing fire completely transformed and undeniably powerful. You see, the fire of a crucible is never designed to destroy pure gold. The extreme heat is only meant to burn away the cheap impurities surrounding the precious metal. The intense pressure you felt was not a chaotic accident of the universe. It was a highly calculated spiritual forge designed specifically for your divine elevation. Every single tear you cried in the dark was actually a massive spiritual investment. You thought you were losing everything that mattered to your tired human heart. You felt completely abandoned by the very people you sacrificed your own happiness to protect. But heaven was actually stripping away everything that was simply too small for your massive future. You were completely outgrowing your old environment, and your spirit needed more space to breathe. Think about the ancient story of Moses in the desolate and empty wilderness. He was a powerful prince who suddenly lost his entire kingdom and his royal identity. He spent 40 long years completely alone in the silent and unforgiving desert. His isolation looked exactly like a terrible punishment to the ordinary world outside. The people who knew him probably thought he was completely ruined and forgotten forever. But Moses was absolutely not forgotten by heaven for a single second. God simply had to clear the crowded room so he could finally speak to him through the burning bush. Moses needed to be completely emptied of his old earthly identity and his human ego. Only then could he properly receive the heavy mantle of a true spiritual deliverer. The massive wilderness was never his grave. It was his ultimate preparation ground. This ancient and powerful pattern is exactly what is happening in your life right now. And that brings us to the very first promise I made to you at the beginning of this message. I promised to reveal the exact reason why heaven allowed this painful season of extreme isolation. Here is the absolute truth that will set your tired spirit completely free today. Your intense isolation was never a punishment for something you did wrong. God deliberately removed the noisy crowd so you could finally hear his quiet voice. He intentionally caused the sudden separation between you and the people you used to love so deeply. He did this because their limited earthly frequency was actively jamming your spiritual radar. They were unintentionally keeping you grounded when you were desperately meant to fly. Your current isolation is absolutely not evidence of your spiritual disqualification. It is the absolute highest evidence of your divine selection. You are a carefully chosen vessel prepared for a very specific cosmic purpose. And the people who witnessed your painful transformation can deeply sense this profound shift in you. They cannot articulate it with their limited human words, but their spirits feel it completely. They sense that you are no longer operating on their low and predictable earthly frequency. You have stepped into a totally different energetic reality that they cannot access at all. They are watching you navigate the dark storms with a strange and beautiful peace today. You are not begging for their fragile approval or seeking their empty validation anymore. You are standing incredibly tall in the exact places where you used to shrink down. This is exactly why their casual conversations stop the moment you walk into the room today. Your restored presence demands a level of spiritual respect that makes their hidden demons tremble. You are officially standing in the glorious aftermath of your intense personal crucifixion. You survived the very thing that was maliciously sent to destroy your spiritual calling, and now you carry a heavy spiritual authority that cannot be faked or copied by anyone else. When you speak your ultimate truth today, the very atmosphere in the room has to shift. But understanding the true purpose of your isolation is only the first step of this massive journey. Once that profound truth clicks into place, you are finally ready for the next level. Because there is something hiding underneath your isolation that goes much deeper than the physical environment. It is a subtle and dangerous internal root operating quietly beneath every single season of your life. If you do not see it clearly, it will continue to block your biggest blessings. Coming up in just a moment, I will expose this hidden block entirely. But first, let this powerful revelation settle deep into your spirit. Now you finally understand why heaven had to isolate you from the noisy crowd. But here is where this revelation becomes incredibly profound and deeply personal for your journey. Let us look closely at the actual transformation you experienced while sitting in that painful darkness. The world did not just watch you survive a difficult and random season of human hardship. They literally witnessed a human being turn into a spiritual force of nature. They witnessed the exact moment a fragile mortal transformed into an awakened divine creator. This is not just a beautiful poetic metaphor. It is the absolute literal truth of your energetic evolution over these past few heavy years. You were born carrying a specific frequency that ordinary people spend lifetimes trying to artificially manufacture. But you spent the first half of your life trying desperately to suppress it. You were constantly told that your deep emotions were simply too much for normal society. You were aggressively conditioned to believe your sharp intuition was just a wild and foolish imagination. So you carefully packed away your brilliant divine nature into a small human box. You tried incredibly hard to play the normal human game according to their rigid earthly rules. You chased the normal human goals, and you suffered the normal human heartbreaks every single time. You were literally a sleeping god, desperately trying to convince everyone you were just a regular human. But heaven will never allow a chosen one to sleep through their ultimate earthly assignment. The universe will systematically dismantle every single comfortable illusion, keeping you small and hidden. Every painful loss you experienced was actually a violent shattering of that small human box. The intense pressure was deliberately applied to force your dormant divine nature back to the surface. And when the unbearable pressure finally reached its absolute peak, something beautiful inside you cracked wide open. The fragile human ego that you spent decades carefully building simply dissolved into thin air. You stopped trying to control the uncontrollable chaos around you with your exhausted human willpower. You finally surrendered entirely to the massive cosmic current, pulling you violently forward into the unknown. That was the exact moment the profound spiritual alchemy finally occurred. You stopped reacting to the cruel world like a wounded and terrified earthly victim. You started quietly responding to reality like a grounded and incredibly powerful spiritual master. You realized that you actually have the power to command the emotional atmosphere in any room. When chaos completely surrounds you now, you no longer absorb the heavy panic of other people. You remain deeply anchored to a peace that surpasses all logical human understanding. Your mere presence now acts as a massive anchor for the chaotic energy of the entire collective. This is what it truly means to step into your God-given spiritual authority. You are no longer begging the universe for tiny crumbs of basic human survival. You are finally remembering how to confidently speak your desires directly into physical existence. You are reclaiming the divine inheritance that was always yours before the world told you otherwise. The people who knew the old you are completely disoriented by this massive shift in your posture. They remember the tired version of you who always apologized for simply taking up space. They remember the anxious version of you who desperately needed their constant approval to feel safe. Now they are looking at a powerful, energetic being who requires absolutely nothing from them. You have completely detached from their chaotic drama and their limiting earthly expectations. This massive detachment is your greatest spiritual superpower. It means they can no longer use guilt or shame to manipulate your divine energy. You are completely immune to the toxic emotional hooks that used to drag you heavily downward. You have ascended to an energetic altitude where their petty human judgments simply cannot survive the atmosphere. You are a walking testament to the absolute power of divine spiritual resurrection. You took the most painful poison the world offered, and you successfully transmuted it into medicine. You took their malicious rejection, and you beautifully weaponized it into your ultimate spiritual protection. You are exactly what happens when a chosen one finally remembers who they really are. Every single tear you cried watered the deep roots of this massive spiritual awakening. Every moment of unbearable loneliness was actually a sacred initiation into this profound level of mastery. You are standing fully in the blazing light of your own beautiful divine activation today. And the undeniable power radiating from your spirit is absolutely shifting the physical reality around you. But as you step fully into this massive spiritual authority, you will face a new challenge, because the enemy does not just attack you with external chaos and difficult people anymore. He knows those old earthly tactics no longer work on your awakened and powerful spirit. So he has shifted his strategy to something much more subtle and incredibly dangerous today. There is a quiet internal block preventing you from fully utilizing this massive spiritual power. And if you do not properly identify it right now, you will unconsciously sabotage your own massive breakthrough. Coming up, I will expose this hidden block so you can finally break it forever. But first, you must understand exactly how the universe provides the tools for your complete liberation. You are no longer just surviving the brutal storms of your daily life. You are officially learning how to command the powerful winds and the heavy rain. You are stepping into a profound level of spiritual mastery that leaves ordinary people completely speechless. The old version of you would have easily crumbled under the immense pressure you face today. But the new version of you simply smiles at the chaotic wind. You are beginning to realize the absolute magnitude of your own divine calling. The spiritual gifts you carry were never meant to stay hidden in the dark shadows. Your deep sensitivity is a highly advanced radar system designed to navigate complex energetic fields. When you are fully aligned, you can easily manifest beautiful solutions out of thin air. You can instantly shift the heavy mood of an entire room just by walking through the door. You are a massive beacon of divine light in a world that desperately loves the dark. When you fully embrace this ultimate truth, the entire universe rearranges itself to completely support your sacred mission. Opportunities that used to feel impossibly far away will start walking directly toward you. The heavy doors that were securely locked for years will suddenly swing wide open. Heaven is literally rolling out the red carpet for your long-awaited arrival. People are deeply drawn to your bright light because they are freezing in their own darkness. They subconsciously feel the massive divine authority you carry in your daily posture. And because you are a chosen one, heaven trusts you with this immense level of spiritual power. But even with all this incredible spiritual awareness, you still experience moments of sudden exhaustion. You still have days where the physical density of this world feels absolutely crushing. You know exactly what I am talking about right now. You experience moments where you feel totally connected and completely invincible in your spirit. But then you wake up the next morning feeling totally drained and completely disconnected from Source. This frustrating cycle of rising and falling is not a failure of your spiritual faith. It is simply a biological limitation placed on you by a society that fears your incredible power. Your beautiful spirit is completely willing, but your physical receiver is incredibly tired. Remember the profound truth we discussed earlier about your suppressed childhood frequency. The modern world systematically crushed your natural gamma brainwave to keep you completely manageable. You have been trying to run a massive spiritual calling on a depleted biological battery. This is exactly why you crash so hard after moments of brilliant clarity. But before we go any further today, I have to tell you something incredibly important. I need to share something the people who profit from your endless exhaustion never want you to know. A dedicated team of brilliant neuroscientists working quietly away from the loud headlines made a massive discovery. They finally discovered exactly how to bring this dormant and powerful brainwave back to life. They did not achieve this through decades of difficult meditation that most people cannot sustain. They did not use massive biofeedback machines that cost thousands of dollars and require a sterile clinical setting. They achieved it through something far simpler and much more aligned with your natural divine design. They engineered a specific sound frequency to safely guide your brainwave patterns back to the genius state. This is the exact state of effortless flow you were naturally born with. Top researchers at Princeton University spent years studying this exact biological phenomenon. The Einstein Center in Berlin officially confirmed these incredible findings in their own strict laboratories. And Columbia University found something even more astonishing about this specific brainwave activation. They discovered that when this powerful frequency is fully reactivated, it does not stop with you. The beautiful energy actually radiates outward and begins to positively influence the people around you. It heals the energetic environment for your children and your closest loved ones. It brings profound peace to the chaotic spaces you walk into every single day. And it requires absolutely no heavy lifting or forced human willpower from you. 7 short minutes a day is absolutely all it takes to shift everything. And the brilliant activation begins working the very first time you close your tired eyes and listen. You simply let the engineered frequency do exactly what your brain was beautifully designed to receive. You do not have to chant or force your mind to be perfectly quiet. You just allow the profound restoration to happen naturally. I will tell you exactly what this powerful tool is called before this message ends. I will show you exactly how to easily access it for your own personal journey. But first, there is something very important you need to understand about your past delays. There is a specific reason why your ultimate breakthrough has been blocked for so long. It is the subtle internal block I promised to reveal to you at the very beginning. The thing quietly holding you back is absolutely not what your logical mind thinks it is. And if you do not see it clearly right now, you will unconsciously continue the painful cycle. Coming up, I will expose this hidden snare completely so you can finally step into total freedom. But here is the part no one really wants to say out loud. And I say this to you right now with absolutely nothing but pure love. The brutal warfare you have been fighting is no longer coming from the outside world. The relentless enemy is not actively attacking you from the dark shadows anymore. While the world was trying to break you, you secretly built a heavy cage around your own potential. The biggest threat is actually hiding inside of you today. Here is that deeper root I promised to expose to you earlier. The thing quietly blocking your ultimate breakthrough is absolutely not a demon. It is the fact that some quiet part of you is totally terrified of your own spiritual power. You have been running away from the massive weight of your true divine calling, and you are deeply afraid of what happens if you fully step into your bright light. You fear your own magnitude. You know exactly how much your energy affects the people around you. When you speak your absolute truth, the entire room shifts, and people get very uncomfortable. So you learn to make yourself incredibly small to keep everyone else feeling perfectly safe. You deliberately sabotage your own massive momentum because massive success feels way too dangerous for your nervous system. You dim your beautiful light to survive. Please understand that this is absolutely not a harsh accusation against your character. This is the exact spiritual diagnosis that finally sets your tired soul completely free. You were aggressively taught that having this much divine power would eventually corrupt you. The ordinary world convinced you that your spiritual strength was somehow dangerous and incredibly selfish. So you chose to hide your rare gifts away. You hide your beautiful gifts under a heavy blanket of false human humility. You pretend to be confused when you actually know exactly what you need to do next. You wait for someone else to give you official permission to step into your rightful place. But heaven is never going to force you to pick up a heavy mantle you refuse to carry. You have to consciously choose to pick it up yourself today. You made a silent agreement with limitation a very long time ago. You looked at the massive calling on your life, and you whispered that it was simply too heavy. You told the universe that you would rather stay comfortable than become a completely isolated spiritual master. But you already lost the comfortable warmth of the ordinary crowd anyway. You already paid the incredibly painful price of admission. There is absolutely nothing left for you in that small and restricted earthly space. The people you are trying to protect with your smallness do not even appreciate your daily sacrifice. They just take your beautiful energy and leave you completely empty and totally exhausted. It is finally time to stop apologizing for the massive space your awakened spirit requires. You are allowed to take up massive space. You are absolutely not a fragile victim of your own intense spiritual depth. You are a carefully chosen vessel built specifically to handle this exact level of immense power. The tight fear you feel in your chest right now is not a warning sign to retreat. It is simply the physical sensation of your human ego finally dying and getting completely out of the way. You are finally ready to hold the sacred fire. The universe is waiting patiently for you to stop playing this foolish game of hide and seek. God is waiting for you to finally stand up and claim the massive territory you already won in the spirit. You do not need any more earthly preparation or painful wilderness training to be worthy. You do not need another season of harsh isolation to prove your absolute dedication to the path. You are entirely prepared. The brutal testing phase is completely over, and the difficult grading period has officially ended. You passed the burning fire, and you survived the crushing weight of the deep darkness. Now you must completely release the heavy fear of your own incredible cosmic magnitude. You must forgive yourself for ever believing the toxic lie that you were supposed to be completely normal. Normal was never your destiny. Blending in with the sleeping crowd was never your true spiritual assignment on this earth. You are a breakthrough prophet, walking proudly among them in a physical human form today. The world desperately needs you to fully activate the dormant frequency sleeping inside your tired bones. Everything you endured was simply building the massive internal container needed to hold this coming glory. You are the vessel. In just a moment, we are going to break that silent agreement with limitation forever. We are going to officially restore the exact frequency that the world tried to violently steal from you. You are going to step across the invisible line and never look back at the old version of you. The painful waiting is entirely over, and the massive spiritual activation is finally here for you to claim today. The people who could not handle your power will simply have to step aside now. You are no longer responsible for managing their fragile emotions or their deep insecurities. Your only responsibility now is to shine as brightly as heaven completely intended you to shine. The cosmic scales are finally tipping, and everything is shifting directly in your favor today. You are stepping into your absolute divine authority. You are finally standing at the very edge of your massive breakthrough. The old version of you is completely gone, and the new version is ready to emerge. You no longer have to force your tired human willpower to make things happen. Heaven is simply waiting for you to fully activate the dormant receiver inside your mind. The cosmic scales have tipped directly in your favor today. Remember the vital question I asked you to hold at the beginning of this message. I asked you, what if the painful gap you feel is not a character flaw? Here is the absolute answer you have been waiting for. The powerful gamma wave was running perfectly inside you as a young child. Princeton University studied this exact brainwave extensively in their clinical laboratories. The Einstein Center in Berlin officially confirmed these incredible findings. Columbia University found that restoring this specific frequency actually influences the people you love. Dr. Robert Lake compressed the full clinical protocol into just 7 minutes. But before I tell you exactly what they built, let me tell you about 2 people who actually used it. A woman from California had literally tried everything to heal her tired spirit. After 2 weeks of listening to this frequency, she said something suddenly cleared. Her marriage beautifully shifted and her mind sharpened completely. She described her new life as fully enchanted. A man from Texas started using it to improve his struggling daily focus for his business. 2 short months later, his wife joked that his intelligence had jumped 20 points. The hardest problems he used to lose sleep over started solving themselves automatically. He finally reclaimed the incredible superpower that the world stole from him. That is exactly what Dr. Lake and his dedicated research team built. They call it the Genius Song. It is absolutely not a normal meditation app. It is a 7-minute audio track using advanced brain entrainment technology. You just use your normal headphones and close your tired eyes. You simply let the frequency do what your brain was designed to receive. The Genius song is absolutely not for everyone watching this message right now. It is specifically for the chosen one. It is for the person who understands that their spiritual channel is simply blocked. If your tired spirit confirms this is for you, the open path is below. Clinical biofeedback sessions cost hundreds of dollars per hour. What the Genius song delivers in 7 minutes is available today for a fraction of its true value. 4 powerful bonuses also come directly with it today. You receive a special audio designed for your children and the original prosperity text. You also get a guided visualization and a daily habits guide built to sustain the gamma state. Here is the deeper truth about waiting for your spiritual breakthrough today. The divine blessing arranged for you absolutely does not arrive as new information. It arrives as a sudden recognition. A gamma-suppressed brain entirely misses the beautiful recognition. The chosen one who restores the receiver today finally sees what was always waiting for them. Waiting is absolutely not neutral right now. Do not look for this specific frequency on YouTube or Spotify. The tracks circulating under similar names on those platforms have absolutely no brain entrainment encoded. They are cheap imitations designed to completely waste your precious time. The only authentic version is available through the protected link. The universe requires absolutely no physical risk from you today. If you do not feel the massive shift, every single penny is quickly returned to you. That is an energetic exchange governed by complete and total trust. The link is waiting in the description and the pinned comment below. But you must hear this next part with your entire spirit today. The tool is never the final destination for your eternal soul. The tool merely restores the broken receiver. God absolutely does not require you to purchase anything to be deeply loved and chosen. What was just described is simply one path. Whether that path is for you or not, this message belongs to you entirely. Let us go deeper into what is waiting for you right now, because the painful season of preparation is officially and completely over. And now comes the pivotal moment where everything in your reality shifts permanently. Tonight, before you sleep, you must seal this massive energetic transition. You must consciously claim the absolute magnitude of your beautiful divine calling. Place your right hand firmly over your beating heart right now. Feel the powerful life force moving through your physical body. Take a deep breath and declare this out loud with me. I completely release the heavy need to be understood by ordinary people. I release every single agreement I made. I release the toxic fear of my own incredible spiritual power. I step fully into my divine assignment, knowing my isolation was pure preparation. My ultimate breakthrough is absolutely not coming tomorrow. It is already here, and it is already moving directly through me. I am fully prepared to hold the sacred fire heaven trusted me with. I walk forward, knowing I am chosen. I am exactly where I am supposed to be today, and absolutely nothing can stop what heaven has placed inside my spirit. The heavy storm has officially passed over your beautiful life today. The fierce winds that tried to violently break you have finally gone completely quiet. You are standing in the peaceful aftermath of your ultimate spiritual activation. Take a very deep and slow breath right now. Feel the massive weight finally lifting off your tired human shoulders. You completely survived the terrifying darkness. The brutal spiritual warfare you fought for so many long years is finally coming to a permanent end. Everything you painfully endured in the dark was absolutely not wasted. The intense isolation and the bitter earthly rejection were carefully preparing you for this exact beautiful moment. The universe was completely breaking down your old human identity to reveal the shining diamond underneath. You are absolutely not the broken and misunderstood one anymore. You are the chosen one. You are the awakened spiritual master who finally learned how to gracefully dance in the pouring rain. You are the powerful cycle breaker for your entire earthly bloodline. You finally hold the massive spiritual keys to your own ultimate divine freedom. You no longer need a single ounce of fragile human permission to confidently step into your glorious future. The people who completely rejected you are simply part of your past earthly curriculum now. You completely forgive their profound human ignorance today. You consciously release them back to their own limited and ordinary earthly journey. You fully release every single toxic agreement you ever made with human smallness. You have officially reclaimed the massive territory that the enemy tried to violently steal from your spirit. Your spiritual channel is completely open, and the beautiful frequency is flowing perfectly. You are a massive beacon of pure divine light, walking purposefully on this dense earth. You will never allow the loud opinions of sleeping people to dictate your brilliant cosmic reality again. For the chosen one, whose spirit deeply confirmed the frequency tool I described earlier, the path remains completely open. That specific resource is still waiting quietly for you in the description and the pinned comment. But that is the absolute last time it will be mentioned today. What follows right now belongs entirely to your final spiritual sealing. We are completely closing the sacred circle around your beautiful energy field. Nothing toxic can enter this protected space anymore. The powerful declaration you just made out loud has permanently shifted your physical reality. This was the final promise I made to you at the very beginning of this message. You beautifully sealed everything heaven just spoke over your precious life today. Your ultimate spiritual breakthrough is absolutely not coming in some distant and imaginary future. It is completely here right now. It is actively moving through your physical veins and restoring your tired biological system. The painful cosmic delay is officially over, and your massive divine assignment begins today. You are going to wake up tomorrow morning feeling entirely different in your tired bones. The heavy mental fog will be completely gone. You will look in the mirror and finally recognize the powerful spiritual master looking directly back at you. Your mind will feel incredibly sharp, and your beautiful heart will feel completely free. You will walk into chaotic rooms and immediately bring a profound and unshakable peace. The beautiful synchronicities you missed for so long will suddenly return. You will randomly think of something you deeply need, and it will miraculously appear in front of you. This is the exact natural flow state that heaven always intended for your beautiful soul. The heavy doors of infinite abundance are quietly swinging wide open for your grand and glorious arrival. The heavenly angels are heavily guarding your physical steps today. The universe is completely protecting your vulnerable heart from any further unnecessary human damage. You do not have to fight the brutal and exhausting spiritual war all by yourself anymore. Heaven is fighting your biggest battles while you finally get some deep and restful sleep tonight. You can finally drop your heavy sword and simply rest in peace. You are deeply loved, and you are incredibly powerful beyond your wildest human imagination. The dark season of intense preparation is completely finished, and your glorious harvest is finally here. You are exactly where you are supposed to be right now. Rest deeply tonight, knowing that your beautiful and magnificent future is absolutely secured forever. The entire universe is singing a beautiful song of victory just for you. Your incredible spiritual journey is truly just beginning in this wonderful new reality. Sleep peacefully tonight and wake up totally restored.